So my name is Ileana. I am a mother, a wife, a fertility coach, biologist, and a figure skater. I grew up in Australia and I lived here in Switzerland about 20 years ago when I first met my husband. Lived here for about 3 years and then we went back to Australia, and that's where we had our kids and worked and decided to come back to Switzerland. We've been here for a year now. So I saw this project advertised, I think on a Facebook post or something. It was all very new. I didn't know what to expect. So I found it really interesting to hear the theory behind some of the, I guess, such a light introduction into audio and the different qualities of the sounds and how they can be perceived, and it's been really interesting to hear what everyone has in mind for a project and we'll see what comes out. So my idea is transplantation, and the concept of transplantation being the fact that we are removed from where we are. So you're uprooted and you arrive somewhere new, and before you become replanted and grounded in that new place that you're going to be is the process of transplantation. So for a while you are, let's say, like a plant, and you're still in the process of being lifted up and removed from a place. But just because you arrive and your flight arrives and you have an apartment, it doesn't mean that you've arrived and you are planted. And so I'm looking at those moments in between, looking at that process and trying to come up with sounds to describe what that process is. Some of the sounds that I'm collecting at the moment, there are some water sounds. I'd love to bring in some of the ice skating sounds, the gliding, the smooth gliding, and the harsher stops. We went on a hike about 3 weeks ago, and there was the river flowing, and there's areas in the river that are trickling, and there's other ones that there's more of a gush of water. And I'd love to be able to represent that plunge of arriving in a new place, and everything's just plunged into a new space. So to give an example, you've arrived, it's been a big journey, you arrive, all your things are here, and you're it's here. But nothing has shape, nothing has form yet, because you've only just arrived and you're all where am I, as you come up from the water, looking around going, okay. It comes from a certain rhythm and sounds that you had back home, and then when you arrive, it's maybe a sound of plunging or a harsh stop or a feeling of new sounds, or before you find your rhythm in all of the things that are normal to your day in your life, the feeling of being out of rhythm or the cautious new steps that you're taking. So when you're finding the regular things that you have to do in everyday life. But maybe using some silence in there, because the silence can be the quietness before you enter into new rhythms and new things that you do. There's the quiet parts, maybe lonely parts, before you've met the new people that are going to become your friends or the friendships that you're going to build. And another thing that's really important is how you felt supported during that change, in those fragile and vulnerable moments where you felt uprooted and your roots were dangling, how supported you felt. It reminds me of my work with women who are struggling with their fertility, and how I support them in the struggles that they're going through and what I can add to help them emerge stronger and feeling more capable, and how I can hold that space for them and support them and guide them through